Sweetums, have you seen my calcium sulfate? Organization of your kill tray is super important in home brewing. In total, I've got well over 30 items in 5 or 6 different categories here. In this video, I'll briefly explain each different item and how to use it, tips and tricks that's helped me in my 20 years of brewing and might help you in yours.
For this, you'll want to get a storage bin with dividers like I have here. This is the organizational structure that I use that makes the most sense in my situation. If you don't have kegs or don't keg ferment, you probably won't have as many trinkets and therefore could probably get away with half the space.
Section 1, I've got salts, acids, and additives. So first off, and possibly most importantly, would be your gypsum, calcium sulfate, and calcium chloride. I do recommend for just a few more bucks you can get bulk sizes of these and then partition them off into something more reasonable. These lower your mash pH as well as add minerals to the mash. Next, we've got lactic acid, also lowers your mash pH. Some Epsom salt, a little bit goes a long way with this, so you don't need much. Yeast nutrient for fermentation. Gelatin, if you want to fine later on. Firm cap or firm cap equivalent for boilovers, but more often than not, I use this to keep the Croissant at bay in keg ferment scenarios. And lastly, Whirlfloc or Irish moss for hot side fining agents. For instruments, I've got, probably most importantly, hydrometer with a cylinder for taking gravity readings. Thermopen, I've had a Thermopen for the last 10 years. It's amazing, I highly recommend this. pH meter, I used it a few times just to kind of bounce off or ping off of the spreadsheets, but the predictive pH for the spreadsheets is very accurate, so I don't really even use it anymore. Little drug dealer scale for measuring out minerals, as well as a little ramekin to measure out said minerals. Sanitizer and cleaners, this is poor man's PBW, it's self-made. While I love PBW regular, it's quite expensive, and I'll include a link down below to let you know how to make your own. And as far as cleaners go, all day, every day, Star San, no question about it. Next up is spare tools and parts. I use a little crescent wrench, a little spanner wrench for putting on and taking off regulator, as well as twisting off any flare disconnects that can be kind of taut, as well as occasionally a carb cap that kind of seems to be stuck on there. Very handy. And if you own kegs, a keg dedicated wrench is awesome. This is an Apollo 11/16 by 7/8. My disconnects happen to be 7/8, and these are a 12-point fitting, and it works very well, so recommend that. Spare parts, this is super important. Nothing can leave you higher and drier than needing a poppet at a crucial time or a dip tube O-ring. So highly recommend buying these in bulk, and I'll link down below as far as the keg post O-rings and the dip tube O-rings, the square ones. Do not pay 80 cents for a tiny, tiny dip tube O-ring. Other parts included in here are rubbers for my floats that I need, as well as any John Guest fittings, some T's, some elbows, some of the blue locking clamps. There's a whole ton, a whole treasure trove of these, and while you don't need them often, when you do need them, you really need them. Section 5 and 6 are keg accessories. Here I've got my 3 spunding valves that are calibrated. They're locked down and ready to go. These are the blow ties from Kegland. 3 is a good number for me, as I'm either cranking out 2 or 3 kegs of beer to be keg fermented at the same time. Here's a 2-in-1 tool. I'll use this to pull a gravity sample, or I can use this after I put on another disconnect to transfer beer from one keg to another. Here's my cold side gelatin fining setup, and check out this video for a quick link on how to clear beer using this. The last section has carb caps, non-screened floats, and a screen float. This is clear draft system, and I've got 3 of these. 2 are currently in use. I love them, I'm not gonna lie. While I love them, they're kind of expensive. So the next time I'm in the market for a screened float, I'm gonna look towards the Floatit 2.0. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. This homebrew kill tray is part of a functional and tidy brew house, so if you're interested, take a look at the next video. Otherwise, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.